Less sickness, more energy, right? I think everybody does. So what I've also found too is that I do a lot of these workshops, and what I see is that the more people participate, communicate, and engage, the better results that they get. So it's kind of like if you went to the gym and worked out. Unfortunately, we can't just look at the elliptical machine. We got to get on it and use it to get the best results that we want. So all I ask then, guys, is for the next 15 minutes is that we just participate in a fun dialogue. Fair enough? Okay. So just a little bit of background about me and where I came from and why I'm here. So I grew up in a big Italian family where everyone knew everything about one another. I'm talking aunts, uncles, cousins. We are inseparable and still are to this day. But as I was going through chiropractic school, I got a phone call from my mom, and it was the worst phone call I'd ever gotten in my entire life. And what she told me is that my uncle had been diagnosed with cancer. And so immediately I was shocked. I was very scared, yet I was optimistic because I had faith. But the one thing I was just so confused about, and I couldn't wrap my head around it, was why him? He looked healthy. He was a thin man. He stayed really active playing sports with his kids. I just didn't get it. And he looked no different the day before he was diagnosed with cancer and the day he was diagnosed. So I really didn't understand. But we got to pick up the pieces and life moves on. So he began his form of treatment, which consisted of cancer vaccination and also medication. And for the first 2 years, he was doing absolutely amazing. I mean, you could hardly tell the man was sick. And we had his good days and his bad days, but he was very selfless, and he didn't want pity from anyone. However, when we entered that 3rd year with the disease, things began to decline drastically. He was very weak. He couldn't walk up the stairs without being in pain. And the one thing that we noticed is that he was very defeated, and he wasn't the man that we all knew he was. And, sure that the medication was shrinking the tumors, which was great, but then another complication would result. So we had to take him off the medication to fix the other problem. Well, then the cancer would come back, and it literally became this vicious cycle that was just ongoing and ongoing. And so at this point, I had actually graduated chiropractic school, and I was out in the real world. I was practicing, and I practiced in Cape Girardeau. Has anyone ever heard of Cape Girardeau, kind of southern Missouri? So I practiced down there, and I just knew that there was something I could do to help him. I knew the power of the body and how it had an amazing ability to heal itself. But I knew all this information, and I was so scared to tell them. And I don't know why I was, because they were my family and I loved them. So it took me quite a bit of time, a couple months actually, before I mustered up some courage and I approached my aunt and my uncle. What I taught them was about nutrition. I gave them a wonderful book to read on cancer prevention, and I taught them the power of the body and the nervous system and how chiropractic played a role in that. And at this point, they were so excited. They just saw this as a glimmer of hope in their very dark world at that time. And they actually made an appointment to come down and see me. So they were going to drive 2.5 hours to come visit me in my office just to do something to get his body healing again. So I remember I was talking to my aunt on the phone. I remember exactly where I was. I was on my way home from work, and she literally said to me, Christina, we're so grateful for our team of doctors here because they're wonderful, which they are wonderful. But she said, I wish I would have known this information sooner. Maybe we would have done things differently before Chuck was diagnosed with cancer. And so this hit me really hard. I just thought, why didn't I know this information sooner? And then why, when I did know, why was I so hesitant and scared to tell them? And so, unfortunately, this is something that I'll live with for the rest of my life because my uncle never made it to his appointment. About 4 weeks later, he passed away. And although I know it's not my fault, I can't help but think that every time as I look at his picture on my refrigerator, what if he would have known sooner? Would he still be here today? And so this, guys, is just why I'm so passionate about educating everyone here tonight, is because I just never want to see the suffering that this man endured in anyone else, or the suffering that his family is enduring to this day because he's not here with them. And it's all because if he just would have known what the true meaning of health actually is. And so through that tragedy that I've experienced, I just want to take it and some of the information that I gave, I want to bless the lives of others. They have the information now. Because when you think about it, guys, when you get sick, when you experience a symptom, typically where do you go? The doctor, right? So the doctor will run a couple tests, give you a diagnosis, and then we typically have one of two options: drugs or surgery, right? However, when we go to that doctor, we're never really taught what that symptom actually is, right?
Prescriptions to cover the stuff and that.
So,
I don't want to interrupt you, but with him, he has ulcerative colitis and like flare-ups up and down, but we learn to control it with food and stuff. So instead of just asking him prescriptions, it's nutrition. It's a big thing.
you're right, and the reason being is because that symptom, that ulcerative colitis, it's a warning sign. It's a body signal that's letting us know that something isn't functioning properly. But let's say your check engine light went off in your car. You wouldn't just cover it up with a Post-it note, right? Or your car would break down. Or the fire alarm. If the fire alarm went off in your house, you wouldn't just take the batteries out and then go back to watching TV, would you? No, you have to find out what caused that to go off. So the same premise applies with our bodies. If we cover up a symptom, ultimately, what's still there? The problem. So when I get out in the community, what I like to do is I like to let everyone know where we're at as a country, as a whole. So if you have your pens, I want you to write these three numbers down for me. 25, 2/3, and 27. So guys, there are 25 million pills that are being taken every hour in the United States. 2 out of every 3 people will die of either heart disease or cancer, and we are the 27th healthiest country in this world. 27. There are literally third world countries that are healthier than we are. And I'm not talking about emergency care, guys, or crisis care, because when it comes to those situations, we truly, truly are the best, and we're so grateful for that. But when we talk about the overall health and well-being of an individual, we're 27. So clearly this isn't the case, and if you look at other countries who are higher than us, we know this to be true, but the problem is here is that we've never been taught what health truly is. So raise your hand here if you believe that health is one of your greatest assets. You can't accomplish too much if we don't have our health, right? So as I do, let's say I took a poll on everyone here in this restaurant tonight, and I went up to each individual and I said, what do you base your health off on? The majority of people would say, what? Diet. Anyone else? Anything. Exercise. Genetics. A lot of times I get how I look. You ever heard that? If you look good, you're healthy.
Body shape?
Yeah, exactly. Body shape, how you look, how you feel, that's exactly right. Well, let me ask everyone here in this room this question. Have you ever known someone who felt great but got diagnosed with cancer? Or suffered from a heart attack? Maybe someone who looked amazing, but they suffered from chronic fatigue, or they had digestive troubles, or maybe they didn't sleep well at all, right? Guys, it happens every single day. If we base our health solely on how we look or how we feel, then we disregard the top 2 pillars in the United States. So if health isn't about how you look and how you feel, then what is it, right? So I want to tell you all this. In 1946, the World Health Organization actually came out with their definition of health. And this is exactly what it said, verbatim. It said that health is a state of complete mental, physical, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease. A state of optimal function, not merely the absence of disease. So that's function, not feeling. And yet, why are so many people entering our healthcare model when we're sick? It just doesn't make sense. So if we can grasp, guys, that health is not about how you look, and not about how you feel, but it's how your body is functioning, we have to know what controls that function, right? So anyone know in this room what organ regulates and controls all bodily organ functions in our body?
The brain.
Yes, I love it, the brain. Guys, this is how your body works. Your brain sits at the very top here. It sends messages and nerve energy down your spinal cord throughout these tiny, delicate nerves. These nerves here, as you can see, they travel to every organ, every muscle, tissue, joint, and cell in your body. This collectively is called your nervous system. It's what allows your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, and your stomach to digest food. Now there's something about this system that it's so important that it's protected. And it is the only system in the entire body that's protected on all sides because it's literally that important. And it's protected by your spine. So guys, this is why I, as a chiropractor, look to the spine. Because this is where the power is. The power to health and the power to healing. And no one else is looking at that. I mean, if we think about it, as important as all of our internal organs are, your heart, your lungs, your stomach, those organs by themselves, they have absolutely no intelligence. The only reason that they are working is because your brain is telling it to. So what do you think would happen, let's say, if I were to come right over here and I cut the nerve that was leading to your heart? What do you think would happen to the function of your heart? Stop, right? Shut down. Well, we're not talking about cutting nerves here, but what if there was compression? What if there was pressure on that nerve that was leading to your heart? Do you think the function of your heart would increase or decrease? Decrease. 100%. There was a study performed by a man named Dr. Han Sun-Yu, and what he found through his study is that as little as 15 millimeters of pressure, which is just about the weight of a dime, on that nerve would decrease that nerve's function up to 60%. 60%. Now guys, that's not going to lead to immediate nerve shutdown, but if that's left there over days, over months, over years, it's going to contribute to the disease of the sickness process. But here's the thing, we can't feel that. We can't feel the weight of a dime, and you won't feel it until you enter that crisis stage, and then you begin to experience a symptom. But as we just talked about and discovered, a symptom, you guys, is a warning signal. It's a body sign letting us know that something isn't functioning properly. Anytime your spine is out of alignment, you begin to place endangering stress on your nerves and your nerve roots, limiting your body's ability to function. Who in here has ever experienced stress? Raise your hand. I'm going to raise 2 hands. Okay. Any type of stress that we undergo in our life, and whether that is the stress of sitting at a desk, whether that is the stress of being an active runner, or being a kid and playing around on the playground, what happens is that our bodies and spines will going to shift to accommodate for that stress. Now, sometimes I'll tell you this, our bodies can bounce back, right? We're made to be very strong. That's how we were designed. But if that stressor is either repetitive enough in nature, or if it's traumatic enough, our bodies can't bounce back from that. So what happens is that stress stays there, and it places pressure
pressure on these nerves, making it extremely difficult for your brain to communicate to your body.